Welcome back, guys, to another senior CrossFit video. My name is Chandler. This is Kira. We're going to be demonstrating the movements and walking you through them today. So we're going to go ahead and start with our warm-up. It is going to be a 3-minute AMRAP, which is as many reps as possible. So the movements we're going to be doing is 5 push press, and Kira's going to go ahead and demonstrate for us. So arms out in front, make sure your hands are shoulder width apart. And then remember, we're dipping slightly and then driving that bar up overhead, making sure we're moving our chin out of the way so we're not whacking it with the bar. All right, after 5 of those, we're going to go ahead and do 4 seated knee raise. So this is a double knee raise. So this is our pretend chair, using our hands for support, bringing both those knees up to our chest, leaning back. If this is too difficult, still go ahead and do single knee raises at a time, tapping the opposite foot on the ground. Then we're going to move on to 3 push-ups. We're going to go ahead and do our RX version. You can always do it on the box or a chair if you need to. Remember, her hands are turned slightly V for victory. Her elbows are 45-degree, at a 45-degree angle. She's touching her chest to the ground, keeping those backs and hips tight. So there's no arch, so see her hips aren't dropping down or coming back. I want to make sure that, not like that. I want to make sure they're staying tight. And then the knee is another modification. So we're going to be doing 3 of those and then 2 air squats. So we've done an air squat before. We're familiar with this. Just making sure we're keeping that chest up as much as we can. Halfway is our modification if you can't go all the way down. Okay, remember, this is a 3-minute AMRAP. We're going to be doing 5 push press, and then we're going to move into 4 seated knee raise, whatever modification you need to do for that. And then we're going to do 3 push-ups, 2 air squats for 3 minutes. Once you're done with that, come back to our video and we'll move on to stretching before we go into our workout. Once you're done with that warm-up, we're going to move on to stretching. I'm going to have Kira demonstrate our movements real quick. The first one is going to be a wide stance. We're going to go ahead and put one hand on your hip, one arm overhead, and then we're going to lean to the side. Use that hand for support, standing there for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then go ahead and drop, switch arms, switch the elbow and the hand, 10 to 15 seconds. Come back up to the top. And so the next thing that we're going to do is a forearm stretch. Go ahead and put those fingers facing towards your body, push your palms flat onto the surface if you can, and then draw your shoulders back if you need even more of a stretch than you're already getting. Hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds. Once you're done with that, we're going to come back up and we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So we've done these before. We're going to do 5 backwards and then 5 forward. So we have the side stretch, the forearm stretch, and then the shoulder rolls. And then when you're done with that, come back to us and we'll move on to the workout. You're done with those stretching movements, we're going to go ahead and move on to the workout. So we're going to be doing a 15-12-9-6 of push jerks and plank holds. Kira's going to demonstrate those movements for us. So we've done the push jerk before. Elbows are slightly out in front. Our hands are right outside our shoulders. And remember, we're dipping, pushing the bar, and then we're dropping under the bar. That's the difference between a push press and a push jerk. You are ending under the bar in a slide squat. If you haven't watched the video in our course for this movement, please go back and do so that you can do it safely during the workout. So after we do the push jerk, we're going to move on to a plank. She's going to show us an RX plank on the ground. You can modify this just like a push-up and do it on an elevated surface. You see that her back is tight. She's squeezing her booty. She's not letting her booty drop down to the floor into an arch, and her butt is not sticking up into the air either. We want to make sure it's flat and everything is tight. You're going to hold that for 15 seconds. And again, if that is too difficult, just go onto an elevated surface like we would for a push-up. So again, this is a 15-12-9-6. So you're doing 15 push press all the way down to 6, and then breaking it up with that 15-second plank hold in between. Once you're done with that workout, feel free to come back to us. We'll do some cool down movements and then work on our accessory movement for the day. Now that we're done with that workout, we're gonna move on to some cool down movements. The first thing we're gonna do is wrist flexion and extension, because we did put a lot of pressure on those wrists in that workout. So she's gonna put her hands up, her fingers facing towards the ceiling, pulling them towards her body, holding that for 10 to 15 seconds, or 5 to 10 seconds if that's too long for you. Putting the fingers down and then pulling it towards her body, switching hands, and then repeating the same process on the opposite side. Once you're done with that, we're gonna move on to a cat-cow pose. So we're gonna have you get down onto the ground, and then she's gonna go ahead and round out that back, pushing towards the ceiling, holding that for a couple of seconds, and then dropping that chest through, bringing her head up into an arch position. And we're gonna go through this 5 times, trying to hold at the top and the bottom as long as you can for 3 to 5 seconds to really get a good stretch out of that. Once you're done, we're gonna have you get back up. The accessory movement we're doing today, we've done before. It is gonna be a single leg balance, but today we really want you to try and increase difficulty. So if last time you were using a bent leg when you were holding it, we want you to straighten that out if you can. If you had a straight leg, we want you to lift it higher. And then if you were doing that already, and you were using a chair, we want you to try to let go of that chair if at all possible. And then we're gonna switch legs, do this on the other side. We're gonna be holding this movement for 15 seconds, each leg. And then we're gonna turn around and we're gonna go ahead and do the backwards one as well. So try to have something in front of you. We wanna make sure, just in case if you fall forward, you can catch yourself. But to increase difficulty, try to increase your back leg up higher, or don't use the balance in front of you or the table in front of you. Hold those for 15 seconds each leg.